Greetings audience and welcome to the first episode of Let's Talk About. Today, let's talk about the DJINN. Before we continue, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to make sure you see more videos just like this one. You can also support the channel on Patreon and be one of these amazing patrons with a special thank you to my pro patron, Nerf Nothing. And now, back to the video. The DJINN is a 3D printed brushless flywheel blaster that takes straight talents. The DJINN features a nice long section of Picatinny along the top for either a side or blaster attachment, front muzzle for that necessary orange tip, sling points on either side of the grip, blaster settings menu along the side with an on-off switch directly in front of the grip and under the menu control knob. The DJINN was brought to life using a unreleased brushless fly core from Old Fusion Designs in a beautiful shell designed by Detroit Dartworks with internals assembled by Alan of Talent Axe Armory. It was designed to be a casual and affordable brushless blaster for those wanting to get into the space. I assembled and printed this blaster myself using a hardware kit from Talent Axe Armory that I picked up at Survival Fest. The files can be purchased from Detroit Dartworks on their Etsy, links down below in the description. Printing is straightforward with minimal support. I'm a big fan of the shell design. Detroit Dartworks made multiple side panel options for either a basic DJINN nameplate or a blank one where people can add their own designs. Detroit Dartworks has all of their updates and add-ons listed on their GitHub, which I highly recommend checking out. My only complaint with the shell design is the mag release, which I think is a bit blocky. It's functional, but doesn't seem to match the aesthetics of the rest of the blaster. The DJINN is designed to hold the LiPo in the grip. However, Detroit Dartworks does have a stock with an expanded battery tray in case you want to use a larger LiPo. Now, when it comes to the assembly, it is all fairly straightforward, especially if you built a fly core before. But there are a few areas where I did struggle a little bit. I do think a write-up with pictures would be incredibly helpful, but there is at least a video on Talent Axe Armory's channel, which I'll be sure to link below. There's a lot of handy wiring channels with the board and all the rest of the controls being packed into the front grip of the blaster here. It's a bit tight and takes a bit of maneuvering, but once it's all buttoned up, it's ready to go. Another fun feature about the DJINN, like other brushless builds, is it can be programmed to have a custom startup tone. Talent Axe Armory had a list of tones to choose from. Being an avid horror fan, I chose the Halloween theme, which led to me choosing a Michael Myers color scheme along with Halloween-themed side panels. Now, unfortunately, hardware kits are no longer available from Talent Axe Armory, but all the necessary hardware is listed out if you're wanting to build one for yourself. My hardware kit did include a pre-assembled brushless fly core, which did the job enough, but I did reprint a couple of pieces. My DJINN, when I originally built it, was extremely loud. After removing the wheels and the motor mount, I decided that due to their print quality, it would be best for me to reprint them myself. And after replacing those parts, I did find that the amount of volume that the wheels made went way down. Now, I would love to see some injection molded wheels and maybe like a metal mounting plate for the motors, as I really feel like that would improve the DJINN and make a world of difference. Now let's talk about comfort, and I have nothing but wonderful things to say in that regard. The grip is the perfect size for me and is perfectly smooth and comfortable to hold. The DJINN's front grip is also perfectly comfortable for two-hand firing. Overall, I have zero complaints over the comfort of this blaster, and if you need a stock, there is one that exists, but I wanted a more pistol form. Now let's take some time and go over the many electronic features of the DJINN. The DJINN can swap between semi, burst, and full auto firing modes by pressing the knob. You can also adjust the FPS without having to open the menu by rotating the knob. In order to access the menu, you'll need to hold it down though for 3 seconds. The first feature is one I've actually not seen before on a blaster. The DJINN has the ability to display a game timer, which could be incredibly useful for games where you need to make important plays near the end of the match. Now the main feature most of you will be messing with is Power 1, which controls how fast the wheels spin. Your DJINN will return to the power set whenever it's turned off and turned back on again. So if you're wanting to use a specific power level every time, you're going to want to make sure it's set in the settings. Power 2 you can ignore, as it is only necessary for dual stage blasters. AROF is your full auto firing speed, with BROF being your burst firing speed. Burst is the number of darts fired per single trigger pull while on burst mode. Mags is the amount of darts per mag that you're using. Ramp U is how fast your blaster will fire versus the spin time of your wheels. The lower number, the slower your wheels will be when the dart is pushed into them. This could give you a minimal delay time for your firing, but it does lead to lower FPS with that first shot since the wheels aren't fully up to speed yet. Ramp D is how long the wheels will stay at top speed for ramping down. I did run into an issue with the longer rev time throwing off the timing for the sequential shots, so I'd recommend keeping that fairly low. The next couple of ones I don't fully understand, so I will just read off their explanations off the list I was given by Alan. Dwell U is your ramp up dwelling time, Dwell D is your ramp down dwelling time. Supposedly for your holding to rev, however when I held the trigger down, my DJINN system did not like it. I do think that might be more of an issue of if you have a dual stage trigger or not. I am not 100% sure. SP, high, low, and ret are all for the solenoid, and I'm going to recommend not messing with them unless your solenoid isn't pushing darts into the wheels, at which point you'll probably have to increase the SP high. Bat type is simple and just tells the DJINN whether or not you're using a 4S or a 3S. 3S is recommended and is all I have tried. RFTM I wasn't given a function for, so I don't know what it does and haven't messed with it. Mag switch is if your blaster has a switch to tell if the blaster has a mag inserted. It was recommended to me that I make sure that that stays off, as it would not let you use your blaster if it's on. Overall, I think the DJINN has more setting options than you need, but I want to make sure that I went over at least the ones that I knew so my viewers would kind of have a basic idea of what to mess with and what not to mess with, because I had to do a little bit of fine tuning in order to get my DJINN to function properly. Let's grab some basic chronograph numbers. I did find it was pretty particular about dart type. For best results, it's recommended that you use Dart Zone Max darts. At 75% power, I was getting the advertised 160 to 150 FPS. I found that worker heavies and other firm foam dart types tended to perform significantly worse. When plinking around the house, I did notice that the spread of darts was pretty wide, which means that the accuracy is not very good, which is fairly disappointing. To summarize my thoughts, I do think that the DJINN is a decent brushless blaster for the casual player. It is not as fine-tuned electronically as an SBF or an FDL3, but it gets the job done, which pretty much sums up the DJINN. Accuracy seems to be an issue, which I think could be its biggest deterrent for some players. For HVZ and games under 160 FPS, it still gets the job done in my opinion, especially for the price that you're paying. I think it could be a good fit for many foam flingers, but let me know what you think. Do you think the DJINN would be a good fit for you? Do you enjoy the aesthetics, or does it miss the mark? Let me know what your thoughts down in the comments below, and keep an eye out for my field report on the DJINN. Until next time, I've been Boomsteak, and this has been Let's Talk About the DJINN. Let's talk some more in the next one.